Just getting off from work. About to head back to the crib, man. Hopefully everybody had a great holidays. But just the other day I was talking with a friend of mine, and you know, he watches my content, and he was telling me, like, yo, like, he likes the content and everything, you know, you got good content, but you know, people need to know who you are, man. Who is Fat Pat? You know? And he was like, maybe you should make a video. So here I am. I'm gonna take an attempt at trying to make a video of who is Fat Pat, right? So long story short, well, I'll try to make it as short as possible, but I grew up around cars, put it that way. I mean, since I was a toddler, I mean, my grandfather had me sitting on his knee, you know, holding the impact gun, taking off lug nuts off of wheels and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, since I was a little tot. But as time went on, you know, I always grew up around my grandfather, watching him work on other people's cars and hot rods and stuff like that. And you know, lo and behold, I just got into it. I built my first engine with my grandfather. We built the small block Chevy 350 together. So yeah, that was my first time building. Right at around 18, you know, I graduated high school and whatnot, and I went directly into a junior college. I took up a trade, right? Became a automotive collision and body technician over in, you know, Central Florida. Yeah, that's originally where I grew up at. I did all my growing up was in Florida. But yeah, I took up a trade, went to community college and whatnot, and I grew a liking to it. You know what I'm saying? Doing body work and whatnot. I actually loved it. From painting and the sanding, even though it was dirty, you know what I'm saying? I loved the artistic piece to that, you know? I love being able to take a car from being messed up, whatever, and just bringing it back to new. That was my thing. And I got into restorations. Time went on, I graduated. At this time I was working at Kmart, you know what I'm saying, as I was working through school. But I got picked up as an apprentice at a really nice, I'm not gonna call it fancy, but it was a very nice facility to be a automotive collision and body tech, a body man. We're just gonna call it body man, all right? Started out doing that, and I mean, that was my favorite job to this day. That was probably my dream job. No other job I've had since then has compared to it. And it wasn't just the work that I was doing. It was really the people. You know, the facility was clean. I was learning a lot. The people were just awesome, man. A bunch of old timers that's been doing it for a long time. And yeah, it was just a family. Eventually I got myself a 240SX, right? And I did my very first motor swap. Mind you, the shop that I was working at is the shop that sponsored me to build it. You know, I wasn't making too much money, but they helped your brother out, you know what I'm saying? So I started doing the motor swap and all that good stuff. But during 2008, as some of you may know, basically, I guess the economy had took a little swing, you know what I'm saying, took a hit, and they had to lay people off. Very unfortunate event. I was one of the first ones to get laid off because I did not have a family, essentially, you know what I'm saying, to take care of. And I understood, you know, it wasn't no bad blood. I didn't, you know, it didn't feel the best, but it was all love, and I understood that. And you know, they still let me at the time go back and work on the car and finish the swap. And that's exactly what I did. That was my very first motor swap. My S13 240SX, I did an SR20 swap, turbo, all the good stuff. And I took it from being an automatic to making it a manual transmission, standard setup. Quite the learning curve, but it was pretty easy and straightforward, needless to say. As time went on, man, I felt the need to try to get out of my parents' house, and the money that I was bringing in at the time just wasn't enough. Even though I fell in love with the idea, or with the money that I was getting, I fell in love with that because this was the most money I ever got in my life. Mind you, I was working at Kmart, I was working at this automotive collision center, and I was also doing side jobs, man. That's where a good majority of my money and clients, or if you want to call them clients, customers, were coming from, was from the side jobs. So the money was good, needless to say. But after a while, I went to go get an apartment. They said, hey, even though you can afford the rent, you can't afford to stay here because guess what? You got to keep the lights on, right? Yeah, so that didn't work out, and I had to shift gears on them. And lo and behold, I joined the military, right? So fast forward, I'm in the military. I joined as an AD, the U.S. Navy. If you guys know what an AD is, drop a thumbs up in the comments, show your boy some love. Aviation machinist mate, all right? Started off working on F-18 engines, like building the engines, and just kind of worked my way up from there, you know. Years and years later, here I am right now today, leaving work, still doing it. But besides that, I joined the Navy. And shout out to all my active duty folks, man, and the retired folks, man. Hey, if you guys are active duty, retired, hey man, drop a comment, man. Drop a comment. Let me know when you were in, if you're still in. Are you Army? Are you Navy? Hey, just rep your set, man. Rep your set. I got in the Navy. I had to take a little break, but eventually I got right back into it, man. I met a couple people at my first command. They was in the cars, and you know how it is when you car people, get around car people, we start talking that talk. And sure enough, man, next thing you know, I went ahead and bought me a 79 Malibu. Now, some of y'all know this 79 Malibu. The Malibu that would soon become what I know as, or some of us know as, War Machine. I didn't build War Machine right away. War Machine wasn't War Machine in the beginning. It was just a clean 79 Malibu with a 355 small block Chevy in it. And yeah, it was rowdy, man. It had a stall in it, had some tall gears in it. It was a nice little setup, man. It ran on race gas. Man, it ran on race gas, and man, I really thought I had something during that time. I mean, the car would get up now. Don't get it twisted now. That car would really get up and move. And I kept it like that for a while, man. I threw some 20s on it, then I did a staggered setup. Very nice car. I hope I can find some pics and put that in the description for you guys so you guys can see it and all that good stuff. But yeah, I got that, went on deployment, came back from deployment, got right back into it, man. Next thing you know, got a different house, and I finally had a garage to where I could, get back into building motors. Let me backtrack real quick. So while I was in school, right, I got introduced into some friends that were also in the cars. Obviously, we're all working on them, but these friends was different, right? They didn't just work on cars with body work, like they actually worked on cars and built motors and fixed motors. At this point in time, and I was pretty much a parts changer. I wasn't really an engine builder. I was just a engine assembler, parts changer. That's what I could do. But they introduced me to boost. I learned that imports, they weren't no punk. Imports actually can get down, and they put in work too. And I learned that it's not always about the V8. Now, don't get it twisted. Now, there's no replacement for displacement, but they introduced me to that turbo. And if you know anything about them turbos, man, I'm gonna tell you, it's a damn near close replacement for that displacement. Some would even argue that it is, but I don't go for that. But anyways, yeah, they hook your boy up, and first time feeling boost, man, it felt great, man. Like, I was riding in my homeboy's Supra, and when I tell you that thing pulled, man, it just opened my whole new world up. And that's when I decided, hey, I want to build an import, build myself a 240SX. I want a turbo, all of that stuff. I was going out to the swap meets, well, not swap meets, but going out to the car meets and all that good stuff, meeting other people, friends and all that good stuff, and really making connections, man. Back in the day where people used to go out and actually meet people and actually, see people's bills, and the car culture was just different back then. That's for a different talk though. But I had it ready. Eventually, once I got settled in the new house, right, I then went ahead and started tearing the car apart. I got into something called Pro Touring. If you guys don't know what that is, man, go ahead and look it up, man. It's some of the nastiest builds you'll ever see. I love the idea of seeing cars that were muscle cars doing autocross and road racing and stuff like that, cam racing, all of that good stuff, man. I just fell in love with it, and I had to build my Malibu to do the same thing. And I went all in, you know what I'm saying? I stripped the interior, put some really big wide tires on the back of that bad boy, 315s in the back, 275s in the front. I was really out there, and that's one of the cars that you see in the description. You know what I'm saying? That was before I actually did the turbo swap. That car actually had 4 motors in it by the time I sold it. I blew up one because like that boost, man. And when I tell you that S475 turbo, when it kicked in, I blew that motor up. But anyways, so eventually, built that, and then I got into I started building motors for customers, and this is where my business started kicking off, right? So first of all, just let me go on the record and tell you that yes, I am self-taught. I pretty much taught myself the details, the fine-tuning. All of that stuff came with learning from experience, really. My grandfather taught me how to assemble the motors. He knew how to build them, but I pretty much just learned how to assemble them. But as time went on, I started learning, okay, what did what and why it did that. There's a lot more to building an engine other than just putting the parts together. And I started learning, okay, why it took so long for an engine to be built. Why did my grandpa take, a month, which is actually pretty quick, to build one motor? It started making sense, waiting on parts, all that other stuff, man. And then just the time that it takes, going back and forth to the machine shop, all of that stuff takes into account. But I really want to just put that on record, that I am self-taught. The goal was to go back to school and become ASC certified. Back when I was in school, I wanted to be an ace of spades, be all around, well-rounded, be able to do anything. But I got attached to the money, so it didn't happen. And I ended up joining the military. Fast forward, here we are. So yeah, I opened up my own business, Fat Pat Motors, where I was building small blocks, big blocks, and LS's. You know what I'm saying? I stick to GM, or I stuck to GM. I was pretty biased, you know what I'm saying? My grandfather was pretty all about GM, but you know, as time goes on as an engine builder, you know, we all get to that point where it's like, hey, you know, if it makes power, it makes power. If it works, it works. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not biased, but I will say I am comfortable with my GM platform and building LSs, small blocks and big blocks, right? I ended up selling War Machine at some point because it was just too much car. It was too much race car. Yeah, I had to let it go. I kind of still miss that car a little bit. It was a fun car, man. It was like my first real build that I did everything on. I mean, I stripped it down, redid wiring, all of that good stuff, man. But I had to let it go, and here I am. I had to move across the country, you know, due to military commitment. You know what I'm saying? That's just part of the game. And so now I'm on the opposite coast in California, and I bought myself another car, right? In this car, I decided to do a little bit different, right? I decided to keep all of the creature comforts, the AC, the nice comfortable seats, like all the nice stuff, man. The windows going up and down, all that great stuff, you know. And I decided to just make it fast. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I can say this is my fastest build. My 96 Impala Waukesha. Yes, that's the name, Waukesha, if you didn't know. But yeah, if you check out my videos, you'll see a few of War Machine, and then you'll see some of Waukesha. And basically this Turbo 96 LS, man, it's been real good to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a very good experience building this motor. No different than any of the other LS motors that I built. I mean, I built a supercharged LS motor a while back. Unfortunately, all of my photos and stuff, or the majority of them, are gone. My Instagram and Facebook got hacked some years ago, and it took all of that with it. And I'm not the most tech savvy, so trying to keep stuff saved, ain't nothing saved, man. Everything gone. So I'm trying to be better. I'm doing better here. It's a miracle that I'm even doing a YouTube channel right now, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's a little backstory about me, man. I'm just a regular, everyday, average dude, man. You know, I'm in the military, and I love cars, like a lot of you guys out there, man. Every day, I'm doing something car related, whether I'm in the garage or whether I'm watching something on YouTube, some of you guys' stuff, you know. That's me, you know. And eventually I would like to get back into building motors on a more consistent basis. You know, I'm not going to say bring back Fat Pat Motors per se, but I do want to build some more engines for you guys, and I got some really awesome projects in store that I want to do, that I brainstormed on, and I really hope you guys stick around with me, and we build it together, man. I mean, some crazy stuff. So this is really just only the beginning. This 96 Impala, this is my daily, right? Daily driver. Right now it's in the garage. I got it up on, not on jack stands. I'm doing something with the wheels right now, so I didn't want to drive it today. But this is my daily driver for the most part. I'm driving my wife's car today. But yeah, y'all, if y'all like this video, man, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. But most of all, you know, holla at your boy, you know what I'm saying? Hit me up, drop something in the comments, you know what I'm saying? Let me know that you rocking with me, you know? And I'll be sure to reply like I always do. So yeah, and if you guys are making YouTube content, let me know. I'd be willing to watch you guys' stuff too, man. Yeah, if you guys got any questions about me or about my build, I'll be doing more videos in the future similar to this. Unfortunately, no car stuff today, so it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Be on the lookout for that next video, all right? Peace.